Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And the thievery of public money under this SNP government continues unabated. This time a Scottish government quango overspent illegally, and the Scottish government refused to apply to get the money back. It's basically allowing people to steal money and giving them a pat on the back, sending them on their way and said, look, okay, you're no longer in post, but hey, keep the money. It is significant, it has benefited you, but the people of Scotland don't require it to be repaid, even though you spent it illegally. And spending money illegally is basically embezzlement or theft or fraud, call it what you will. But these thieves have got away with it with the connivance of Humza Yousaf's SNP government. Is anyone surprised? Not me. It is, of course, a whole party riven through with illegality, with criminality, as well as the usual ineptitude and stupidity. But it really is the criminality that sticks in the craw. And it's not as though the police are going to do anything either, is it? They're owned by the SNP. Jo Farrell is simply under the thumb, and she'll do as she's told, or she's fired for thieving from the taxpayer. Let's have a look at this story to see why water bosses have gotten away with it and are sitting there going ha ha and sticking two fingers up to the Scottish people. Here goes. So, SNP government accused of arrogance as it fails to seek repayment of water quangos' outrageous and illegal spending of public cash. The Water Industry Commission for Scotland is charged with regulating Scottish water, but the chief executive stepped down last year over an expenses scandal. This is when he went on a little spending spree with, the old public cash. All for himself, nothing for the public benefit, gave himself a course here, bought himself something there, did some very expensive travel somewhere else. Basically living the life of Riley, living high on the hog, and all, of course, charged to the taxpayer. And they have the option of getting the money back, of recharging it back to this quango. And they said, no, it's quite okay. It's quite acceptable for these members on these quangos to steal from the public purse. We're not going to bother chasing it up or trying to get the money back. Enjoy what you've had on your way. Move along now. Nothing to see. The Scottish Government has been labelled arrogant over its refusal to force its water watchdog to pay back substantial expenses which were criticised by Audit Scotland. The Water Industry Commission for Scotland was slated last year over poor governance of public money. A damning report found that it had failed to seek approval for a number of expensive expenses, including splashing out more than $77,000 on a course for a senior executive at Harvard Business School in the US. That person should have paid for that course themselves, and having passed may have been eligible for a slight uplift in salary, being better qualified, but it certainly shouldn't be the taxpayer covering this person's course, which that person now left the job but can go elsewhere and use the benefit of it. What benefit does that bring to the taxpayer of Scotland? None at all. That money, therefore, has been stolen from the taxpayer of Scotland. A further $2,600 was claimed to provide every staff member with a £100 gift card for Christmas. And I happen to know, as an accountant, the limit is £50. But both these payments breached government rules around expenses, and both had to be retrospectively applied for after Audit Scotland pulled up wicks for this. And when the report was published, the chief executive, Alan Sutherland, left his role with immediate effect, having benefited, of course, from all this thievery. But the Scottish Daily Express can reveal that the Scottish Government failed to seek repayment of the Christmas gift cards, despite this being over the threshold that Wicks could authorise themselves. In emails from November the 2nd, Mr Sutherland writes to senior government figure John Rathjen to speak retrospective agreement, because it is always easier to seek forgiveness than to ask permission. He wrote, the first relates to £100 gift voucher that we made to all staff last Christmas in recognition for their hard work given the efforts in delivering the consulting activities, well over £500,000 of revenue. This should have had SG approval as it exceeded the £75 gift threshold. I apologise, I said £50, £75, but I knew it was over the limit. That we can authorise. The total cost of these vouchers was £2,500. Mr. Draston said, on the Christmas gifts, I accept this was an oversight and I do not think it is proportionate to try and recover the balance. I think it's exceptionally proportionate to try and recover the balance. The principle is they overspent. Fine, it may have been a genuine oversight, but even so, it still needs to be repaid. Off it comes. Not a problem. He said, going forward, this must be contained within the then agreed threshold. It must certainly be contained within the threshold, but you must give back that money. Pay it back. Now. You thieving bastards. The pair also discussed the Harvard training cost, which was also retrospectively approved, as it was claimed that due diligence had been carried out and the most suitable product selected, and as such, given the board was content with the appropriateness of the nature of the spend, I am content to agree retrospectively the procurement approach. And yet no one can state what benefit the taxpayer has got from him getting that course. He now no longer works for that Quango. So he's had that very expensive course and now he's sodded off. Where's the benefit to the taxpayer? Now, what he should have done is he should have bought that course, he should have got himself qualified, and then negotiated a small pay rise for being better qualified. That's entirely different. The civil servants also warned that in the future, I would also highlight novel or contentious expenditure is something to raise regardless of the cost threshold. In other words, don't do it again. If you're in any doubt, question us. And if you think it's a bit dodgy, then it is a bit dodgy. All expenditure must be approved. And indeed, I've worked, listen, I explained this before many times. I've worked for the accounts. I've been an accountant, for many, many years. I ran the accounts department for a large builders. No expenditure was ever paid that it didn't pass across my desk. I signed off on every expense, every single one. And I'm talking even up to directors, and I would question things on directors. And as I say to them, I can't justify some of these things because they're not work related, or there's tax implications, or there's VAT implications. And I'd say either I don't pay it and we'll deal with it separately, or you'll have to pay this element of it, or some such. They always agreed. I kept them within the law. But I always kept an eye on who was spending what and where and when. Genuine expenses got paid. Dodgy ones got questioned. If okay, allowed. If not, pay it yourself. You have to. Because you have to in a business. Because it's not your money. But with this lot, it's like, yes, it's not our money, but we're not a business. We're spending taxpayers' money. It doesn't matter. If we run out of money, just charge the taxpayers a bit more. The attached option appraisal, it said, doesn't show the relative costs of each of the options, but our bigger issue is that it's not clear what assessment was done as to whether this course was essential to the business of Wix or the individual undertaking their role. In other words, they've sent them out for this course, £77,000. They don't even know if the course was useful to the taxpayer, but they're happy to pay it and they're not asking for the money back. He says, for this level of expenditure, we would have expected either a clear case that the individual could not do their job without this training, or that the cost of the course would have been recouped through business benefits to the organisation resulting from the training. And in neither case did that happen, because he just buggered off, newly highly qualified, into a better role, presumably for more money, and only able to get that because the taxpayer coughed up. Bill him. 77,000, bill him. Take him to court, get the money back. But they're just constantly frittering away public money all the time, and there's no one questioning it, no one wanting it back. It is organised, arranged theft of public monies. Everybody knows it's happening. Everybody's turning a blind eye. Nobody's chasing it up, and nobody has the balls to ask for the money back. Because if you ask for one bit of money back over there, they may expect it back there and there and there. They don't want that. They're all thieves. They're all crooks. Every single one of them in government. And look at that fat, slimy, oleaginous toad. Fired, he walked, but effectively was fired for thievery. Coming up. There's a lot of it about, isn't there? There's an awful lot of money that goes missing, unaccountable, spent, wasted, embezzled, fraudulently obtained, stolen. And nobody is jumping on it. Nobody dares. Because nobody dare do anything against this SNP government, against this illegal criminal organisation that's stealing your hard-earned money to benefit its people directly. Not benefit the taxpayer, not benefit the nation. They're lining their own pockets. It's got to stop. You've got to vote these people out. And if you're an SNP voter, is this what you voted for? To have your pocket pinched by these thieves, these magpies? Probably not. But of course, you're still going to vote for them because, like, yeah, they're stealing from me, but, you know, they're the best. I'll stop now. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video and make sure that nobody steals from you without getting away with it. Bye.